Well, here it is. Now, if you're part of my normal audience, or if you're a fan collector in the US, you've probably never seen something like this before. So, what is it? Well, thankfully, there's a very informative tag right up here. This is a GEC Kingsway. This was a fan made by General Electric Company of England back in the 1930s and 1940s. This one in particular is a 1940s model. I believe the 1941 on the tag is the date that this was made. And what makes this so special is that while this is a bit of a common antique, at least in Asia, I think this is the only one that has currently surfaced in the not Northeast, in just the United States as a whole. And it's the first one that I've seen that is 110 to 120 volts. Because pretty much every other one you see is 240 volt, because that's what most of the rest of the world runs on. But not us, so.
What's really weird is that these gold stripes on the side are lead paint, but the rest of this fan is not lead paint.
Yeah, so from what I tested from just doing one of those like lead paint swab kits, which I always do on antique fans just to see if the paint is lead, I ran it all over the like bottom of this little switch housing thing here, nothing. Top of the motor housing, nothing. But as soon as I started like putting the little cotton swab over this middle part, it started turning purple. If you've used one before, then you know what that means. But yeah, I did it again, and for some reason, the only part of this that detected lead paint was these like little gold stripes. So don't know what's up with that. Why that's only that part is lead, but
I wonder if like someone repainted it like many moons ago.
I don't know. There's a lot of like story to this fan that I'll go over while I guess have it powered. But one last thing before that is that this is a 56-inch fan, and the proportions are a little off because the blades are so massive, and the motor housing is about as small as, say, maybe a Four Seasons housing, if not smaller.
Definitely funny looking.
Here's the top of the blade badges. Has a very unique pattern. And in general, the way that these blades install with this single nut is something that I haven't encountered before.
I don't think that's a very good design.
No, it's
just
not.
because if it comes loose and the blades start getting all sideways under the torque.
But anyways, we're using this on a solid state speed control. So let me just make sure it's not going to stall out. Okay, it's not. So yeah, I got this from an estate sale. Yet again, that seems like where all my antiques come from. And they shipped it to me from Palestine, Texas. Actually,
I'm standing all the way back here and I can't even get this whole thing in frame.
I forgot to bring this up before, but you may notice that there's a Hunter original canopy and downrod on it. This is the original that it came with. It had a normal bell canopy, but the only problem was that this part on top that normally would have had the grommet and J-hook is completely missing. Plus, it's way too long for this testing spot, so thankfully a Hunter original downrod is like the exact same threads and fits just fine. So we're using that. So this came along with a white 36-inch K63 Emerson heat fan. Let's wobble a little bit. But my theory is that these were either installed outside on a porch or something, or in a barn. I was not able to see pictures of them installed anywhere, but just based on the property and considering that there was like a farm slash barn nearby, then that is, I guess, the theory with the strongest evidence so far, because if you noticed earlier, this is quite covered in rust, especially at the top.
Also, we do not have a set screw in the down rod for this because it was missing the set screw. So it's just kind of threaded in.
Yeah. I mean, that'll be fine for just testing it like this. But if you want to install it long term, then you would definitely need to put a set screw in there. Go ahead and turn it up a little bit.
So there was a video of someone taking one of these apart, and it had ball bearings in it. But
well, I don't think it's this exact fan, but it was one that was
very similar.
Yeah. So,
and there is this mysterious screw on the top that had a rubber gasket on it. So I can only assume that's for oil, but I can't imagine.
I don't think that this uses oil. I mean, I could be mistaken, but from what I understand, these don't. Although, please, whatever the actual answer is, tell me in the comments.
I just find it very weird how there's just this one little screw up there with a rubber gasket on it.
This fan in general is just kind of like unforeseen territory, I guess.
It's very weird.
For us.
Very weird.
Turn it up a little bit more. Oh.
Making some weird sounds.
Lovely noises.
But this thing will be very, very powerful.
Yep.
On high.
And considering the environment this was in, there was no way in my mind this was ever going to be silent. And it's really catching up speed now. This is almost high speed. In fact, it basically is high speed. So let's just go to high speed.
Yeah, there you go. That's full power right there.
And
look at this damn thing.
as expected for an antique, it is absolutely moving. And it's hard to calculate the blade pitch like exactly because it's kind of like curved industrial blade style, but it is moving a lot of air.
I'm gonna try not to die here. Getting a top shot.
Yeah, this thing is no joke. Videos that I've seen of these do not even run these even close to high speed, probably just because it's maybe a bit much.
It's a bit excessive.
Yeah.
Fucking tripped.
I'm gonna try a different blade setting real quick. I don't know what that noise is. So the bearings are definitely scratchy. I'm honestly surprised it's as quiet as it is. I'm just hoping it's not like a bent shaft or anything.
Definitely making some interesting sounds.
Turn it off now. Hey, turn it off again. Well, the only last thing we did is that Matt realized that the wires coming out of the jacket were very, very corroded. So we just had to strip those off and reskin the jacket, and now the wires underneath were thankfully fine. Yeah, definitely one of the weirdest fans that I own. I'd say. I mean, I definitely think it's cool, but it's just so unusual. I've never really seen anything like it before, so I don't really know.
What's that beeping noise?
That's my AirTag. I don't know why that's going.
Oh, okay. It free spins pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely got used a lot, I can tell you that. And it's maybe one of the first instances of a bottom mount spinner, because that's basically what it is. Now it's not really in that bad of shape, but you can tell it could obviously be better. So giving this like a repaint and figuring out what's going on with the bearings is definitely on my list of projects, but it's not really like a huge priority or anything. So there is a chance that this does get restored by me in the future, but I'd have to, I think, ask for help from a few people that have more experience with these types of fans than I do, just so I don't like mess anything up, because this is like really rare.
There's a tag. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up for the GEC Kingsway.
So, thank you for watching. Asia ceiling fans.